Yo Games here with
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter, and we're playing Hyper Juken for the first time. So, what we have here is I'm gonna play Lucy, the Savage Shizu, and Carter's playing who?
What was your name, good sir?
Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we have these three zones. We got the in-play zone where attack cards are performed and block/tactic cards used go here until they resolve. And cards that stay in play stay in the in-play zone. Then we've got the corner where you put your burst/EX fighter card and the two kata cards, aka the corner cards. So we'll put our fighter right here, basic form, right here. And the mat is a little small because it's just printed. But yeah, so we put the two kata cards right here, and then put the fighter there, and then put our hyper meter right here. And then the key pool is basically when attack cards resolve, they're sent here. Send cards from your key pool to exhaust to pay to perform attacks or to use effects, and then arsenal is the deck, and exhaust is the discard pile. Right, and then we got pretty much a 40 card arsenal, I believe, and then we just shuffle up and go from there. But just starting from the top of the rules, we'll go. Each player places their fighter and kata into the corner, which is the middle, and then each player shuffles their arsenal and places it face down in their arsenal zone. Players decide who goes first randomly.
You want a cup?
Yeah.
Don't you need that card too?
No, this extra card.
So, you sure this is 40?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep. Alright, and then prep phase, turn structure, preparation phase. Look at the top four cards of your arsenal. Then place any amount of them on top of your arsenal and the rest on the bottom. Draw cards until you have four in hand. And then you may then set any number of tactic cards from your hand by placing them face down and use setup effects. And setup effects on cards in your corner or in play can only be used once per turn. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Arsenal there. Look at our hand, and then we can mulligan, bottom deck anything that we want. And then we can set setup cards into play face down and use setup effects. Yeah, so just to read that again, you may then set any number of tactic cards from your hand by placing them into play face down and use setup effects. And setup effects on cards in your corner or in play can only be used once per turn. Alright, so you might be wanting to look for zero cost cards, and of course, like, you know, the cost is going to be in the top left of the card, and then when attack cards resolved, they'll go from in play they'll go to the key pool. Then that's how you'll pay for cards in the top left or whatever the cost.
Oh, like Washwood?
Weiss, sure. Yep, haven't played that one in a while, but yeah.
I got the killer 7 Deadly Sins deck.
7 Deadly Sins. I got a Batman Ninja and something else. Might be 7 Deadly Sins, I don't know. Alright, but and then the decisive phase. Decide whether you wish to initiate combat or not. If you do, proceed to the combat phase. If not, then the end phase. And in the end phase, both players may place any number of cards from their hand on the bottom of their arsenal. And then your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with their prepare phase. Alright, arsenal construction. Choose your fighter, then two kata cards, one of which may be the same color as your fighter. Now construct your 40 card arsenal Yeah, so fighter's tool tip. Your fighter's tools has a second use. You can use it to keep track of the turn player is. When you initiate a combat, slide it up to reveal aggressor, and when combat ends, then conceal aggressor. All right. When you initiate combat, you become the aggressor, and your opponent the defender. You now use your trigger effects with the condition of initiating or entering combat. The defender now draws cards until their hand has 4 cards. Then they may use their trigger effects with the condition of entering combat. Okay, in the combat phase, the aggressor and the defender take turns making actions, starting with the aggressor. An action is either using an act effect, performing an attack, or passing. Act effects: to use an act effect, do what the effect says to do. If the act effect is on a card in your corner or in play, it can be used once per combat. If it is on a card in your hand, place the card into play, use the effect, and then send it to your exhaust or a specified area stated in the effect. And then attacking: to perform an attack, pay its cost, either key equal to its level 0 through 2, or max hyper for a level 3 hyper attack. Then place it into play. If it's an attack card in your hand, now use any attack effects it has. Your opponent can now block your attack with either an effect or block card. If they block the attack with the block card, they place it into play and use any block effects it has. Both your attack and their block resolve. Your attack is sent to your key pool, and their block is sent to their exhaust. If your opponent does not block your attack inflicts combat damage. The amount of combat damage your attack inflicts is equal to its POW. The POW is the number to the right there. In the basically that went to the right, it says POW, Mario style. Yeah, your opponent now reveals cards from the top of their arsenal, so mills from the top deck, then places them into their exhaust equal to the combat damage inflicted. If they reveal a breaker card, they use its breaker effects, then resume revealing the remaining cards and placing them into their exhaust. If your attack has any hit effects, they are used after all combat damage is inflicted. Your attack now resolves and is sent to your key pool. Passing: this is choosing to do nothing. If both players pass consecutively, the combat phase ends. And when the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. The turn player is no longer the aggressor and their opponent the defender. Once one player's action resolves, their opponent may take an action. This goes back and forth until both players pass consecutively, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. Glossary: an attribute is a property of a card denoted by white text in an elongated black hexagram. Cards can't gain attributes they already have. Chip: when a chip is blocked by a block card, it still inflicts chip damage. Combat damage: damage inflicted when a card is not blocked. Discard: effect damage. Yeah. Alright, so any questions from that?
What's the win con?
Mill the other player so they have no arsenal, no deck.
Oh, okay. So basically, it is like Wash Rush without the reshuffling of your discard.
Man, I haven't played in a while, Weiss.
Oh, and you basically, so you have your 3 grid, and you have your clock.
Stage and all that crap.
Yeah, that one when you take damage, it goes to your clock, not your discard. Okay. Every time you hit like a certain number, your clock goes up.
Okay.
It gives you stronger cards, but also you're closer to losing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's just.
All right, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. With the first 4. setting number of tactic cards in your hand by placing them face down, and use setup effects on cards in your corner. Alright, so Lucy, her power is trigger when you initiate combat. Raise your hyper 2. When your hyper reaches max 4, pay max hyper, and Lucy becomes a hyper fighter. So right now I got 0 hyper.
Oh, so that's how it works.
Yep. And then so continuous key flow form 1. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, raise your hyper 2. And then key flow form 2 is continuous whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool. Target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. So what does Tai Chi do?
Tai Chi, you're not gonna like this. Continuous, your attacks gain hit. Remove the top X amount of cards from their exhaust, where X is half this attack's original power rounded down. So not only will I send your cards into exhaust, then I can exile them.
Okay. Say it again.
When they attack, they gain remove X amount of
cards. Which card is it though? Is that the Kata card?
Yeah, that's him. No, it's him himself.
Okay.
Okay, now the Kata card. Whenever your opponent blocks you with an original hit effect, raise your hyper by 2. Raise your hyper 2.
Okay.
And then this one is action by paying discard 1 tactic card to target 1 level 1 attack card with an original hit effect in your exhaust. Then pay its cost to perform it. When the attack resolves, if it would be sent to your pile, send it to your exhaust instead.
Okay, and what's his fighter form do?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is
first fighter average.
Oh no, this is the one I just read. The X amount of cards in your exhaust are removed.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, so I'm going first. Let me go ahead and yeah, you know what? I'm gonna
have to keep that up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll wait on that for a minute. Alright, so we'll go energetic kick. Man, you know, before that, alright, I will bottom deck these two. I'll bottom deck these two. Draw these two. Cool. Alright, we're gonna go energetic kick. Okay, when you initiate combat, then raise my hyper 2, so I got hyper 2 now. And then alright, so preparation phase, you may set any number of tactic cards from your hand, placing them into play face down, and use setup effects. Setup effects in your corner and can be used once per combat. So setup, no setups. Alright, decisive phase, decide whether you wish to initiate combat or not. If you do, proceed to the combat phase. If not, the end phase. Alright, so combat, when you initiate combat, you become the aggressor and your opponent the defender. You may now use any trigger effects with the condition of initiating or entering combat. The defender now draws cards until their hand has four cards. They then may use their trigger effects with the condition of entering combat. In the combat phase, the aggressor and defender take turns making actions, starting with the aggressor. As an action is either using an act effect, performing an attack, or passing. Act effects: to use an act effect, do what the effect says. If the act effect is on a card in your corner or play, it can only be used once per combat. If it's on a card in your hand, place the card in play, use the effect, and then send it to your exhaust or specified area stated in the effect, and then attacking. To perform an attack, pay its cost, either key equal to its level for level 0 through 2, or max hyper for level 3 attack. Then place it into play. If it's an attack card in your hand, now use the attack effect it has, and your opponent can now block your attack with either an effect or block card. If they block the attack with a block card, they place it into play and use any block effects it has. Both your attack and their block resolve. Your attack is sent to your key pool, and their block is sent to their exhaust. And if your opponent does not block your attack, your attack inflicts combat damage. The amount of combat damage your attack inflicts is equal to its POW. Your opponent now reveals cards from the top of their arsenal. They place them into their exhaust equal to the combat damage inflicted. If they revealed a breaker card, they use its breaker effect, then resume revealing the remaining cards and placing it into their exhaust. If your attack has any hit effects, they are used after all combat damage is inflicted. Your attack now resolves and is sent to your key pool. Passing, this is choosing to do nothing. If both players pass consecutively, the combat phase ends. When the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. The turn player is no longer the aggressor and their opponent the defender. Once a player's action resolves, their opponent may take an action. This goes back and forth until both players pass consecutively, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. Alright, so you want to block that one, or you just want to take the 2 POW?
Yeah, I'm going to block that one. Just try it out. Raise my hyper to 1. Anything else you want to do?
Alright, so you blocked, and what is that? So block, what's the block effect? Raise your hyper 1?
Yep.
And then what else does it say?
During the next action, this combat, your attack gains chip X, where X is their level. So it's a level 0.
Alright, so come again?
During the next action, this combat, your attack gains chip X, where X is their level. When you attack with chip is blocked by a block card, it inflicts chip damage to your opponent equal to its chip value. Which I think is weird because it's a blocking card, so why do I need chip damage?
Yeah, let me look at it. Alright, so raise your hyper 1 during the next action. So upon block, raise your hyper 1. Did that. Alright, then during the next action this combat, your attacks gain chip X where X is their level. When your attack with chip is blocked by a block card, it inflicts chip damage to your opponent equal to its chip value. Alright, so coming in.
Supposed to be like a counter or something?
Sounds like it. During the next action this combat, your attacks gain. So maybe you can counterattack? I don't get it. But during the next action this combat, your attacks gain chip X, where X is their level. During your next action this combat, your attacks gain chip X, where X is their level. And then I'm level. Do you know what level I am?
Aren't you? Well, how do you know what levels?
Levels.
Is the hyper the level?
So on the other side, I have 2 hyper now. Not sure about the levels. Okay, so level 3, to perform an attack, pay its cost either key equal to its level for 0 through 2, or max hyper for level 3 hyper attack. So level 3 hyper attack. Okay, hyper fighter. Doesn't say anything about levels quite yet. Does yours say anything?
Oh, I see what it means now. See, if I was a hyper and my attack was blocked, it still does damage, so that's why it would.
Okay, that's only if
like
you're a
that.
hyper fighter.
Yeah.
Okay. But what about the levels though?
Aren't you like a level 2? Because you're a hyper too.
I don't know, we'll figure it out in a second. Alright, but yeah, alright, so basically you're saying you're not doing any chip damage or counterattacking because you're, I guess we'll put it here for the sake of the cam. Alright, but yeah, I'll put this to my key pool. And then upon hit, send the top card of your arsenal to your key pool. Did that hit or did it get blocked?
It got blocked.
So I guess it didn't hit.
Yeah.
Alright, so now I'll do another attack. And you got how many then? 3? Alright. So I go another energetic kick. And then when you initiate combat, raise your hyper 2. So at 4. I guess on the aggressor. Continuous. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. I have.
No, you haven't used the card to send it. Anything that just
sends a card.
Yeah, it's basically if you did it yourself through an effect, then you can activate that.
Okay, whenever your effect.
Because if that's the case, it'll go off every time that your cards go into the key after they've been used.
Okay. All right, so yeah, swinging another 2 pal with the energetic kick.
I can't block that.
All right, 2. All right, you got no breakers. BRKRs.
Nope.
All right, so hit, send the top card of your arsenal to the key pool. Do that.
Now you can activate that one.
Okay. Yeah. Whenever your effect, but that isn't my effect. That's that moves effect, though, right?
But it's your card.
I mean, shouldn't it say whenever a card's effect sends a card to you?
Yeah, that's a card effect, isn't it? That's what you did, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it says your effect, though.
You talking about yourself, right?
Yeah.
It would if it was me, it would have said opponent.
Yeah. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them into your arsenal. Have nothing in the exhaust right now.
That's a pretty good combo then. Because think about it, if you played this like late game, you could actually reshuffle your attack cards back in.
Yeah.
And you already got 3 key to use.
Alright, whenever your attack sends a card to your key pool. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, raise your hyper 2. So I guess it'll put me on 6.
Yeah, you're just gonna evolve. I mean,
Looks like it.
Do you draw again or do you wait till your next turn to draw?
No, I'm pretty sure once we get done with this attack phase, then we'll both draw back to 4. Alright, but till then, I'm going to do Impassioned Flying Knee. Spin 1. And then that's an attack, that's a kick. With attack, raise your hyper 1. Put me on 7. And then you may pay 1 key to target 1 opponent's debuff in play and neutralize it. Have none. A card that is neutralized is sent to its owner's exhaust. Alright, so you want to block that one?
I can't block it.
4 pal. No breakers.
Oh shit, I wasn't even paying attention. Anyways. Nope, no breakers.
No breakers. Right?
Alright.
Resolves. When you initiate a combat, raise your hyper 2. That's, I think I'm on 7. Whenever your card sends a card, whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, raise your hyper 2. Whenever your effect sends a card to your key pool, target 2 attack cards in your exhaust and shuffle them. Alright, yep, and then I'll pass, and then it's on you. You can pass.
Yeah, then that's over, right? I passed. Because I have none to play. So now that we both passed, does it switch to my turn now?
Yeah, surely that's how it goes, but I'm going to read it out loud, though. Passing, this is choosing to do nothing. If both players pass consecutively, the combat phase ends. When the combat phase ends, proceed to the end phase. The turn player is no longer the aggressor and the opponent the defender. Once one player's action resolves, their opponent may take an action. This goes back and forth till both players pass consecutively, at which point the combat phase ends and the end phase starts. Both players may place any number of end phase. Both players may place any number of cards from their hand on the bottom of their arsenal. Your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with the prepare phase.
No.
Alright. So, yeah.
I think I'm gonna put one under there. And then I'll start.
Okay.
So I can do that every time, look at the top 4 and then yeah, because it says look at the top 4 and then draw in 2 half 4. So okay, that makes sense. So
no, but you've already got a hand of.
I only have a hand of 2.
Yeah, but
no, because it says look at 4, and then put how many you want on top, and then put the rest on the bottom, and then draw until you have 4. So if I look at 4, say I put I'm putting 2 there and 2 at the top. So I have to draw until I have 4. So I'll draw the 2 cards.
Cool. All right, that'll work.
Let's see how this works, because I'm not doing so well. Yeah, we're gonna do a dizzy punch. See if I can confuse you.
No, well, before you do that, let me get my hand straight.
Yeah.
Can I change your battery right quick?
Yeah.
Y'all doing all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'll be right here.
You sure that works?
What's up?
Because wouldn't that give you more chances to block me? If you get a restart your hand as well?
Man, it says on end phase, both players may place any number of cards from their hand on the bottom of their arsenal. Your turn ends and your opponent starts their turn with the prepare phase.
And then I start drawing. So basically, it didn't say anything about you drawing 2.
Okay. Yeah, so
because that would mess us both up. Because that means you're going through your cards even faster, and you're gonna be wasting all your block cards.
Okay, in phase, both players may place any number of cards from their hand on the bottom of their arsenal. Your turn ends, and your opponent starts their turn with prepare phase. Look at the top 4 cards of your arsenal, then play any amount of them. You may set any number of tactic cards. Oh yeah, I mean, it works for me.
Oh yeah, dizzy punch. Let's see here. You block.
What's the hit effect?
If it hits, you have to discard a card and become stunned. But if you do discard a card, you get to draw at the end of my next action combat.
If I go ahead and block.
Yeah.
High X block. With the block effect of raise my hyper 2. And then
that blocks. Alright.
I don't know if how do you pay the X hyper? I guess as soon as you when your hyper reaches max, you pay max hyper as a trigger to draw 1 when your hyper reaches. I think since I'm at 9, I go ahead and flip.
I think he was missing how to make your person a hyper fighter.
Pay the cost to use the effect. It's not an effect itself. Man, do you think it just automatically just gets paid and then I go in hyper fighter form?
I guess it makes more sense because he
Yeah.
doesn't really explain how to go into hyper.
I mean, unless we're overlooking it.
The only thing about hyper fighting is use the following effect only if your fighter is a hyper fighter. So unless there's a card that makes it into a hyper,
Nah, there's not that. I think it's just automatically. Yeah, I think it's just automatically. Alright, so now I have the ability of continuous when your attacks gain +2 PAL and chip X, where X is the attack's level. When your attack with chip is blocked by a block card, it inflicts chip damage to your opponent equal to its chip value. And trigger when your hyper reaches max, you may pay max hyper to draw one.
alright, since you have blocked me, I get hyper 2. You get 3. Alright. I guess I'm gonna try surprising low sweep. It's an attack that lowers your hyper by 1 and remove 2 cards from your exhaust. The top 2 cards from your exhaust. Do you block?
I got nothing in hand. And
Alright,
nothing
so whenever exhaust is removed, you take 2 damage into your exhaust.
Now you say remove from the exhaust, they don't go back to the deck, or
Yeah, they're removed from the game.
that's what it says though.
That's the only thing you can do with remove.
You can bottom deck it.
Remove the top 2 cards from your exhaust. So if they're removed, that will help you if you bottom deck them.
I think you win when you can win again.
You said when you run out of cards. So basically, why would I use an ability that gives you more cards?
I could have just been saying that though, but did you remember me
Yeah,
saying
remove.
anything
It
about
says
that?
if a card is removed, it is sent to the owner's remove pile outside of the game. So
Okay.
yeah.
But I mean, do you remember me saying the win con though?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you remember me reading the win con?
No, you said you assumed that the win con was to deck them out.
Yeah. This
So that's what I was saying. Like, why would I put your exhaust cards back in there? It's going to make it more work for me.
That's crazy.
All right, and
Alright.
so
And then you
Since
said
it
you
hits-
removed my hyper. Now I wonder if I stop therefore being a hyper fighter or what goes on there.
yeah, see, I don't think he explained hyper too well for this.
Yeah, this is just a quick start guide. I guess you get the official rules. That do you have the deal where you can check out the? I wonder if I stop having hyper fighting abilities at this point.
Yeah. Once you go hyper, you just like if you lose hyper, then yeah, I'm guessing because that'd be kind of a waste.
People like El Eternal, they have a hyper attack, which they use once, and then I think they just go back into regular fighter form.
So basically, she'll start over. So that'd be something more towards the focus on her. I'll just leave it hyper. You can just leave it hyper.
Okay.
Alright, so that one's finished.
Now I couldn't block, so that was how much PAL?
2.
Okay, so I removed 2, then I still gotta spend 2. I mean, still exhaust 2.
Okay. And then, since my attack hits, remove the top of your exhaust where X is half of the attack, so you remove another 1 more card.
Okay.
So I see he's all about making sure you don't get your cards back. Okay. Now this is what I want to ask you about right here.
Yeah, so those kind of cards with the flippies, the continuous when, yeah. So one hit, then it becomes a field spell in the in-play zone.
Mm-hmm.
You'll flip it once it does its thing, and then it becomes a field spell, a field card until until something happens.
Oh, okay. Alright, so do so when you spin key, does it get destroyed or what?
Oh, when you spin the key, yeah, it'll just go to exhaust when you spin the key. Go to the discard pile.
Alright, I guess I'll spin exhaust and do backbuster. Alright. It lowers your hyper gauge by 2. So technically I would have had your removed your hyper gauge by 3.
Yeah. Man, does it stop being hyperfratic for me? I don't know. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe it does. Yeah, maybe. Was it? I mean, you want to say she descends?
Yeah, because she's already stunned, so your next turn she can't do anything.
The super saiyans. All right, so she's at a 6.
Alright, so and then you lose 4.
Well, I mean, I just lost the. Oh yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then you remove 2 of them for half the
Now,
the
which 2?
top.
The top 2? Or
Yeah, let's do the top 2.
Then the card goes in play though, because it has a debuff effect, right?
Yeah, but where do I put it?
In play, the top.
Alright.
But I mean, what does it say right there? The top of it.
When you spin key instead of resting it. No, whenever you perform an attack, I can inflict X amount of damage depending on the level of the attack card.
Okay.
Alright. Key disruptor. Alright, so it raises my hyper by 2. And also it you take 4 if you don't block.
Yeah, can't block. 1.
That's a tactic.
2.
Breaker.
Alright, man. Use only when this card is revealed from the top of your arsenal. It's combat damage from an attack. Prevent the next 3 combat damage your opponent's current attack would inflict. Raise your hyper 2. Remove this card. Alright, prevent the damage. Raise the hyper 2.
Alright.
Remove the card. Alright.
So you took 2 damage, right? That was 1,
Yeah,
2.
and then
Alright, so since only 2 damage went through, you lose 1 off the top instead of 4. I mean 2. My continuous, it gains remove X amount of cards from your exhaust, but since you only took 2 and blocked the rest, is instead of you losing 2 cards, you lose 1.
alright.
And then this will actually go here as well.
Okay.
Your turn.
Right.
So yeah,
Draw 4.
look at how you want them. But if you don't want, put under the deck and then redraw until you have 4 again.
Wait. We got nothing, so. I'm passing flying knee. Raise your hyper 1. Whenever you initiate, raise your hyper. Alright, so yeah,
Alright, so I'm activating his ability. since you use the card to pay the cost, it's removed from the game instead of going to your exhaust. The debuff ability for this one.
Okay. So then you spin that and then it goes to exhaust.
Yeah, that should be the right way to put it.
I mean, wasn't it continuous or?
Oh yeah, it says continuous. My bad.
Alright, so your attacks gain +2 PAL in chip X, where X is the level, is the attack's level. And then trigger when your hyper reaches max, you pay max hyper to draw 1. You may pay max hyper to draw 1.
So are you attacking me?
Yeah, I'm swinging
Alright.
raise your hyper 1. You may pay 1 key to target one opponent's debuff and neutralize it. Alright, so attack, raise your hyper 1, going into 2. You may pay 1 key to target one opponent's debuff. Guess I'll go for that one.
Well, that one's removed then. Because of this debuff.
And then I wonder if I can do it twice, but I mean, it says 1. Pay 1 key to target one opponent's debuff and play and neutralize it. I wonder if I can do it twice. It says 1.
No, I don't think you can do it twice.
Yeah, probably not. Alright,
Yeah, I'm taking this hit. Is it 4?
yeah, 4. But I have 2 +2 PAL, so I get 6.
Wait, where'd you get the +2 power?
Continuous on
Okay. 2. 3. Who's that? What is the breaker again? How's it spelled?
BRKR.
A?
BRKR. Yeah,
Oh.
that's it. Yeah.
Alright. Alright, let's see here. Prevent the next 3 damage. Oh, thank goodness. Target 1 player. Rise or lower their hyper by 2.
Alright, so we got the chip X though, but the chip where X is the +2 PAL on chip X, where X is the attack's level.
Oh, well, I didn't block though. Chip is only for blocking.
Yeah, even for breaker, I guess not. Yeah. Alright.
So if I knocked your thing to 0, do you? Yeah, we need to figure out the whole hyper thing, because he has a lot of hyper power removal. So I'm gonna remove. Oh no, I can raise my hyper by 2. I'm gonna raise my hyper by 2.
Okay.
And then remove this card.
Okay. Put that in the key.
You got any more attacks you want to throw at me, sir?
Spin 1. Removed. Alright. Raise your hyper 1. Whenever I initiate, raise 1. So 1 and 1. Raise your hyper 1. This attack gains +2 PAL. So that's 8 PAL. And chip X.
Breaker. So how much was it?
8.
8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll take 4 more damage after this. I'm gonna raise his to 2 again to wake him up. Remove. So I'll take 4 more damage. Another breaker. Okay, yeah, this is.
We need some more rule clarifications.
Yeah, because I keep getting remove hyper.
Remove hyper. Yeah, cause Well, I mean, I'm already here, but I mean, how many do you remove?
I remove 2.
2. All right, so I go back down to 2. Okay. All right. With that, go ahead and pass turn.
Alright, so it'll start my turn now. Alright, this one I'm gonna do. Set the bottom. Oh yeah, here we go. Surprisingly sweet. Lowers your hyper by 1. And it removes 2 cards from the exhaust.
Yeah, I'll take.
Alright.
1. And then what? 2 pal and breaker. May use only when this card is revealed from the top and prevent the next 3 combat damage. But I mean, there's really no point, so.
Alright.
May use, so I'll choose not to use it. But then what about the remove thing?
Which one?
Oh,
Oh yeah, that has to be removed after you use it.
yeah, but I'm not using it though. It says may use.
But it's revealed from the attack, so technically it's already in use, right?
No, like it says, may use only when this card is revealed. So I just choose not to use it because there's nothing else it can save me from because you're only doing 2 pal.
Okay. Well, guess I have to do this on you. Tactics.
Okay.
Set up and action. Raise my hyper by 2. And then if I have the buff, the Demon of the Wind in play, which I don't actually. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't have it in play, so I can't use that. It does have a buff though. Wait, that is Demon in the Wind. Fail.
Where?
Since I have Demon in the Wind, I can draw. Yes, that's a buff.
Whenever your opponent blocks your level 1 plus attacks.
Alright. I'm gonna use this ability to discard a tactic to use what does it say? Okay. I'm gonna pay Backbuster. Lowers your hyper by 2 again.
Alright, I'm assuming I stop being hyper.
Alright. Do you want to block?
How many you got in hand?
2.
Alright, yeah, I'll block.
Alright, since you blocked me, I can raise my hyper by 2. And then what else?
Whenever your opponent blocks your level 1 or higher attack with an original hit effect, block card inflict X amount of damage to your opponent, where X is the number of cards they have in their remove pile with the same name as the blocked card.
So where's your block card at?
Energetic show tool.
Okay, so dang, so that won't work. Alright. Oh, so that's what that does. Alright. That one goes here. So how do I use my hyper attack?
Yeah, I mean, you'll flip them over.
No, I have one. He's already flipped over. And I'm at max meter. It says I can attack, and if it's blocked, you take X amount of damage to where it's the number of block cards you have in your remove pile, but you only got 1. But so yeah, so you already used this one on my last attack. So I'm swinging for 9.
I'll block.
All right, so you take 1 damage then.
Well, 1.
If this attack is blocked, you deal X amount of damage equal to your opponent to where X is the number of block cards in your discard pile. You have 1.
I mean, that's a discard, bro.
No, this is your exhaust.
Yeah, I mean, you say discard.
Yeah, this is your discard. That card
Okay,
is the same one.
Okay.
And then on top of that, actually, so you take 2 damage. Because you take 1 for blocking, having a block card. Then you take another one for having a block card with the same name as the card that you used.
Alright, I'm gonna raise my hyper 2, so I'm back hyper. The 1.
Yep. And then, I think I'll do it this way. Special attack, raise my hyper by 1 again. This attack cannot be blocked by a card that is the same name as the card in your discard pile. So you gotta use a block card that does not have this name.
Oh, I have no cards in
So,
here.
4.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright. Pass it to you.
First takedown for 2.
Those get removed. Yeah, you get removed.
Right. So raise your hyper 2, going to 3 plus 2 for initiating, and raise your hyper 2. Hyper fighting. Your opponent must pay 2 to block this attack, and I guess I am hyper fighting. So yeah. So opponent must pay 2 key to block this attack. You only have 1.
Yeah.
So that'll be 6 plus 2 going through.
Alright, breaker.
That was 8 already? Oh,
Yeah.
breaker.
Drop yours by 2. Drop your hyper by 2.
Okay.
And then I prevent the next 3 damage. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll take 3 more damage. 1, 2, 3.
Alright. Alright, I'm passing flying knee. 1.
Removed. He has some good abilities. It's just if we can figure out that hyper, it'll make more sense.
Alright, so attack. Raise your hyper 1. Yeah, no.
I'm gonna block to lower your hyper by 1.
Right, plus 2 pal. Chip X. Chip is the level, the attack's level. The attack's level is 1, so chip 1. Yeah, so chip 1.
Alright. So was it the end of it? Okay. I'm about to.
It didn't hit, but it still did chip, so did it hit?
Chip? I think chip counts.
Your attack is chip is blocked by a block card and inflicts chip damage to your opponent. Chip is an attribute, not an effect. So we say it hits, or we say it does not hit?
Yeah, it hit.
Alright. Then I'll pass turn.
Alright. So I'm gonna start my turn. I'm looking at 4 cards.
Man, you know, the heat on or the cool on?
Oh, I have air. Are you cold?
Yeah, it's but it's window.
Let's say the thing right there. Going to turn on the heat.
Oh man.
Alright, so we're gonna go straight punch, you know, just a normal little punch to the face. Lowers your hyper by 1. Do you want to block?
Move the top 4 cards of your opponent's exhaust. What, how many you got in hand? 3. And take the 2.
2. And then the top 4.
Right.
It can't be blocked by a card that has the same name of any card in there. And you take 4.
Take 4.
I'm about to say that was a breaker.
1, 2,
pass it to you.
Bottom deck these. Casting Flying Knee.
Removed.
Raise Hyper 1.
That one's removed. I'll raise my hyper by 1.
Right, so that's 6. Shook 2. Yes, he block. Where's her one? So what this
So how much is the chip?
6 chip 1.
Alright.
Okay. Will pass.
Alright. Check the top 4. I'll put these two at the bottom. Alright, so we're gonna do sweeping attack. Lowers your hyper by 1. And we're going to be removing 2 cards from the exhaust. Top 2. Do you block?
Nope.
Alright. You lose 2. I will do my hyper attack for 9.
Yep, I got no blocks.
Ooh.
Man, breaker.
I had a backup plan. I was going to just straight out attack this whole turn. Look. I was just going to keep attacking.
Yeah, I was looking to attack, but then I didn't have any key though. I had a handful of attacks.
Oh, you got some strong key attacks. Those take 2.
Yeah.
I only take 1.
Yeah, but you gotta figure out that hyper thing.
Yeah. So I don't think that's throwing us off with that hyper.
Might have it written in my notes, but it's not here though for sure, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not in there.
Alright, cool first game. Yeah, so what you think so far?
It's good. We just got to figure out that hyper. That's my only issue, is the hyper. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not here, I'm sure, and if it's not in my notes, I'm sure some gamer dude will surely tell us.
It's,
Alright,
they might.
game 1 of Hyper Juken. GG's.